Hello, welcome. I'm Hannah, and today we're going to be talking about individual single shadows. Not my little magnetic pan jewels, but the gel pots and the squeezy shadows and the super shocks, the stuff like that seems so enticing to purchase. Then I do, and a lot of the time in my experience, I just let them kind of sit and waste to the side. And after I randomly selected a couple in January, as I always used to do, and I didn't touch them at all, I felt like I needed a little bit of an intervention with my individual single shadows so I can make sure that the ones that I still have in my collection are ones that I love and ones I will be excited to reach for and use. So I don't really have makeup on because we're just gonna be doing a little bit of a makeup playtime, smearing them on my face, seeing which ones I kind of still get a rush out of and which ones I want to declutter, and hopefully I will be decluttering a bunch today. I have a couple of these Urban Decay shadows, and these are the most like powder shadowy of all the individual single shadows that I have, and I thought these were a good place to start because I love them and I know I'm keeping them. These are what I want my individual single shadow collection to be like. These just feel special to me. They feel nice. I'm always excited when I use them. Sometimes I do forget to use them for a little extended periods of time, but whenever I do, I love it. They're convenient to travel with. I have Lucid, which is this like teal inner corner shade. Love it. It's just like a soft glow, and something about it just works really well for me for the inner corner. I have Space Cowboy. This is like a really light wet shine sparkly shadow. And then I also have Solstice. This is kind of like a more subdued version of something like Cleona Grisaille, but it just feels so pretty and sophisticated. And full disclosure, on the last day of the Sephora sale, I ordered Lithium also. I've swatched that one in store before. It's like a deep brown shimmer, and it looks so pretty, and I wanted it. So that's on its way to me. Next in the way of like powder compacts, I had these two from Odin's Eye. I did a whole eye swatch video about the Odin's Eye shadows, and then I did a follow-up video about how they were stinky, and I decluttered all of them except for these two, which are Kevin and Maja. Kevin I do like because it's a very unique shade, and I feel like the stinkiness doesn't bother me when it's in its own compact like this. The thing I really liked about the shade is I feel like it's a lime green base with more of an apple green sparkle, and that just felt really unique because usually the darker color is more of like a base, and I'm happy to have this one. Maja, on the other hand, though, I feel like I might have a recent dupe for it, and I want to test that out. I know I said I'll be putting things on my face. We'll get to that in a second. I just wanted to get these out of the way. So this is Maja. This one is so beautiful. But I'm wondering how Skilla from Divina, from their Mystic Cove collection that just came out, I'm wondering how that compares. Yes, I did just stab this shadow trying to reopen it. So this again is Odin's Eye Maja, and this is Divina Skilla? Let's see. I think Skilla does look a touch brighter and more yellow predominantly instead of the orange, but they are really similar, and I think I want to declutter Maja. I feel like I've gotten to the point with my collection where I have so many shadows, and I don't want to pick Maja for the day over Skilla, because Skilla does look a lot more like sparkly and bright, and I feel like decluttering Maja will make me reach for Kevin more, because it'll feel more special as my one Odin's Eye shadow, and then I'll open up this case, so if I want to travel with like one single Cleona shade in the future or something like that, I can use this case. So I'm going to do that. Okay, let's talk liquid shadows. I feel like looking at these off the bat, I can tell why I don't use a bunch of them because I feel like they just don't fit into my makeup style. So it's not the look I want to reach for, and it's not the format that I tend to reach for. But the one that possibly does fit in the best is this Rare Beauty one. I bought this because of an eye swatch video that I saw that girl Shay XO do years ago. It's called Nearly Neutral, and she blended it out all over her eye, and it looked like the prettiest transition tone base color. I just don't tend to do that because it seems like a lot more work to me than just putting a powder on my eyes. But it is really pretty. Maybe I used it a bit much. but it does blend out really easily. Okay, I want to keep this one. I feel like this is the kind of thing that maybe I'll get on with more once my head is kind of cleared from all the other ones. Because I do like the color. When it comes to mattes, this is the color that I use. Let's talk a shimmer next. I have this Sydney Grace My Bond. I bought this from a Hannah Louise Poston video years ago, and she decluttered it in that video. And I was like, that looks so pretty, how could you possibly do that? I've lived with this for years, and I think the only time I ever used it was during a month that I had randomly selected it, I think last year. It's really pretty, but it is a dark shadow. This was very messy. But I guess like the point is like, what am I gonna do with it? It doesn't look good just rubbing it on like this. Like I think this, while this is too much and a little messy, I believe that a more refined version of this would actually look good. And I don't think this will look good. It kind of looks like a slightly deeper Cliona Grisaille again, and I would just rather use Grisaille. Maybe I'll do a little comparison. Let's see. So here is My Bond, and let me pull out Grisaille. Let me mention too, while I get Grisaille out, that I do have another kind of liquid shadow on its way to me. In that last day of the Sephora sale order that I made, I also ordered Jewels from Danessa Myricks. When I was walking around the store on the first day of the Sephora sale, I had that in my hand, and then I was like, you know, Hannah, you never use this format, put it back. And then I swatched it out again when I was in store like the next week, and it was just so pretty, and I feel like that is sheer enough that I could imagine myself using that in the same way that this is my makeup style. That's my makeup style, but this isn't really my makeup style. So here is Grisaille. That is interesting how Grisaille doesn't feel like a deep shade, but this does feel like a deep shade. But I do think like I love Grisaille. I mean, Grisaille does have a brighter reflect to it, so I think that definitely helps. I'm gonna put Grisaille over here. Like a neater version of this, I think I would actually do. And this shimmer looks so much prettier than this shimmer does. So yeah, I don't think My Bond is a trash product. I just think that for my purposes, I don't need it. Let's talk about this Kaja Moon Crystal too, because it's a pretty similar shade, maybe not, but in my head, it's a pretty similar shade to My Bond. This does have an expiration date on it of March 8th, 2021. I purchased it in 2020. I saw that at the time and I thought it was absolutely ridiculous, but like, it does just say it right there. I did have to squeeze kind of hard to get that shadow out. Oh, this is so pretty though. This might be kind of similar to Abrasion. Ooh, and it does feel cool. It feels really cool on my hand. I kind of don't like that. Let me grab out Abrasion. Okay, so here is Abrasion. I think the Kaja one does look a little bit more teal in the swatch. Let's see. Yeah, again, not an exact dupe, but it is the same vibe, and I might have other things that are more close to that. Of the shadows I just have right in front of me, I have Ball Drop from Copacetic. This one doesn't swatch the best, but like that's in the same family too. Yeah, maybe more so that. And I think I would just rather use that. I was ready to defend the Kaja one, but the cooling feeling that like I still feel from it is freaking me out. And I could imagine that being the kind of thing that I put it on my eye, maybe even I try to add like little touches of that at the end, and it just like throws it off. Or I feel like I want to wipe it off because I don't want something like tingly on my eyes. So for that reason, yeah, I'm gonna finally declutter this one. Plus like, yeah, I mean, it says 6-month shelf life. I don't always follow expirations, but like if it's written right there, I can't ignore that. And it's tingly, like maybe that's why. They're like, it will explode if you have it for 36 months. This is one that like I know I'm keeping. It would have to do something really heinous right now for me to want to get rid of it. It's the Becca Light Gleam Primer and Topper. I don't even know what shade, oh, the shade Refract. Not that it matters because Becca's not even in business anymore, but this always felt like such a cool girl product to me. I really like the tone of this like grayish blue. I really like this sparkly topper. This is something that I wish I used more in the past, but it still does work. And it's really the kind of thing that I want to have a smaller collection of individual single shadows. So this in particular stands out more. Just like the sparkle in it's nice. I could wear it on top of the blue. I could wear it on its own. Cute. I mean, like, not there, but you know, you get the point. That's what it looks like on face skin. This Tarte Rainforest of the Sea, Life's a Beach, I have a long relationship with. I wanted this for so long. I ended up getting it when it was on sale on the Tarte website, I think. And it is just like a pretty product. It's very teal metallic, but I don't know. I don't wear this shade that much. I do sometimes, but not enough necessarily to warrant having this. And I just feel like when I've worn it on my eye, it hasn't, I don't know, wowed me enough. It's also with something like this, and it's like what am I gonna do with it? I feel like I wore it under my eye once, and I liked that. But isn't it still just like easier to wear a powder? I feel like I already kind of made up my mind about this, and I think I've had it long enough and toyed with the idea of decluttering it long enough that I'm ready to just go ahead and do it. It doesn't fit into how I do my makeup, and for me to want to keep these things, they have to fit in and wow me. And I have to be able to remember them to remember to pull them out and use them. Next, I have these two About Face Fluid Eye Paints. I bought these when the brand first came out in January of 2021. And I have a video way back on my channel where I tried these out right when I got them. I liked them. I still stand behind them being a good formula, but I've just never used these, and I still feel like they're just not the right colors for me. I also had a white one once that I did already declutter. Let's try this in like the big blown out way. Okay, no, I don't like that. I'm just trying to think of like what I would do with them. Because if I wouldn't just blend it out big all over the eye, would I really use it as a fun graphic matte? Or would I just reach for a powder even if it's not the same exact color? Would I pick it up on a liner brush? I'm going to try this with the brown one just to switch it up. This is going on nice and easy, but I'm just thinking like, would I do this? Do I like this? I just think I have to come to terms with, as much as I think this is a cool product that cool people use, I just don't have a use for this. I think the formula's nice. I think maybe if I had a color I was absolutely obsessed with, in the same way that I love the Rare Beauty color and I love that Becca color, I could see myself keeping it. But neither of these colors are really doing anything for me, and I don't want to keep these for just in case I become a completely different person who wants to do looks that warrant these. Next, I have these two liners. I would have probably guessed off the top of my head that I would have more things like this, but I guess only two. I have this one that I just got from Urban Decay. It's in the shade Binge, and I'm still kind of learning how I feel about it, but I do think it's easy to make a thin line, and I like it. I was looking for a blue liner like this for a while. The other liner I have like that is this one from JD Glow. I got this, I think, in 2020 or 2021, and it was because I wanted the Fool's Gold eyeshadow, and they were out of stock of that, but they were in stock of it as a bundle with this. I remember thinking of this fondly, but it was definitely underused in my collection, and looking at it now, it's definitely like separated and dried, because it's not like it's refilling the empty spots when it's upside down. Ooh, this smells disgusting. It smells like alcohol. Yeah, you could see it paints really nicely, but I'm not putting this on my eye. I'm not purchasing from JD Glow anymore, so I'm not going to be repurchasing it, but if another brand has a product like this, in this kind of format, comes out easily like this, I would be interested. But yeah, this one is way past its prime. Next, we're going to move on to the ColourPop Super Shocks, which I have 3 of at this point. So this one's called Lapdog. It's the Ultra Glitter formula, and it's this really pretty sky blue. I believe this is what I was wearing in my last video that I dedicated to individual single shadows that I think went up in December, perhaps? And this is the kind of thing, I just really like the shade of blue. I was gonna say that, like, I could see myself keeping this, even if it's not the most impressive of formula, because I like the shade. But is this even, like, giving me the coverage I want? I feel like this could even be a little dried out. I might have to ponder on this one a little bit and try out my other Super Shocks. The other Super Shocks I have are Rooftop Cocktails and Blitzen. Blitzen was a collab with Kathleen Lights in like 2019 or 2020, but I've always held on to it and I've always liked it. And Rooftop Cocktails I feel like is a recent kind of cult classic fave, but it kind of reminds me of Indie Single Shadows, but maybe not as impressive. I feel like these might be a little dried out, because this one and the last one just both felt very, I don't know, kind of hard panned, kind of like you're not really getting in there, not soft at all. And this look is like, what are we even doing here? Like, no thank you. I think last time I used this, I was at least a little conflicted, but this is such an obvious, like, no thank you. And Blitzen. I like the brightness. Ooh, I really like the brightness. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep this. Up close, I was like, you know, it's chalky. It clearly flaked under my eye and everything. But far away, I'm like, I don't have another shadow in my collection like this. I'm gonna keep this one. Okay, next we have a couple of like pot liner things, and then just a couple of glitters, and then we're home free. So I have this one from Anastasia. I don't think I'm gonna test it out today because I am confident that it works. And unless I see any like mold in it, I'm gonna keep it. I've always thought of this little thing fondly. It's 3 like neon water activated liners. I don't love water activated liners. They just kind of freak me out, but I do like the colors of this and I think I will use it in the summer. And then I have these 2 gel pots from ColourPop I've had for so long. I used to have a ton of them. They've dried out one by one and I've gotten rid of them. But I'm left with Piggy Bank, which is this purple, and Fastlane, which is a deep green. I think Piggy Bank was the one that I pulled in my January random shadow selection and then just never used. Okay, here's Piggy Bank. It looks weird in the pot. Like, why does it look so like halo-y, like so white down there? That kind of freaks me out. It still picks up. Clearly I'm not doing a good job, but it does work. But I am kind of freaked out by that glow to it. And I'm like, I already know that I made a point to use it and I didn't use it. I think I'm gonna declutter it. I just feel like if I get a sudden desire to need a purple liner, I'll either go on the hunt for one or I'll just use a shadow. Like I said before, I don't want to keep things in case I suddenly become a different person. Green one might feel a little drier off the bat. Oh, but it looks even more intense on the eye. I kind of want to keep this one. It doesn't have the weird gross halo thing, and it looks intense. I feel like I'm going to keep this one. But that's good. We eliminated this by 50%. Okay, so next I just have a couple of kind of glitters or like flaky things. I have this Danessa Myricks shadow in Lightning Bolt. I thought this was so pretty when I bought it, and I just ignored all of the reviews saying how it dried out, everything like that. That really hasn't been a problem for me yet, although I haven't touched it in a little while since I decided I would want to declutter it. My biggest problem with this, yeah, it still feels kind of like a jelly. My biggest problem was it's just hard to get this to be like full pigment. Like you can see, even as I start spreading it out, there's all these spots where you just see my skin tone through it. It just didn't align with how I like to do my makeup. If it's going to be sheer, that's okay, but this doesn't look sheer, this looks splotchy because it covers so much in some spots and not at all in others. And I feel like the formula is too like spready to put it over a matte shadow. And even if it was easy to do that, that's kind of just like not my vibe. So this one is a declutter. This product from Sydney Grace. Ooh, I feel like I should have talked about this before when I had those like deep purples swatched out. This is a loose pigment in the shade Pistol. I think it's so pretty, but I think it might be similar enough to like Ball Drop. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it. I feel like I don't need to compare it right next to each other to know. This is similar to Ball Drop, and I could just use Ball Drop. This to me is just like harder to use, and on top of that, harder to remember because it is a separate little container. It's so pretty, but I just don't need it to be in this format. And then next I have 4 loose glitters. These are all pretty old in my collection. The nice thing about glitters is that they don't really expire, to my knowledge, like ever, because it's like, you know, it's a glitter. But I really valued these before I was into indie single shadows, because this was the only way to get a really intense, sparkly look on my lids. Now I don't reach for these because I have indie single shadows. So first are these two from Glitter Injections. I'm pretty sure they're still a brand, and I'm pretty sure they don't use like syringe packaging anymore. I thought it would have been cool if you could like literally get a little bit out through the tip, but it's seems to just be for the look of it. I'm like looking at it now and I'm like, is there a hole there? I don't think so. So the way I always used it was taking the back off. This is gonna be a mess. And I would just stick my brush in with a little bit of glitter glue. Oh. I remember saying this a lot in the past when I was really starting to declutter my collection, that I realized there was things sitting in my collection that were already empty or already not usable, and I just didn't know it because I had too many things to like even regularly try my things. I wonder how long this has been like this. Because, yeah, this is completely... I did used to dip in with, I would usually use lash glue to put this on. I just felt like glitter glue wasn't strong enough for an actual glitter, and I always had lash glue because at the time I would wear lashes. And I wonder if I like glued it down. Okay, that's a declutter. This is the color that I actually like more and I would more consider keeping. Oh, and this one, yeah, this one seems to actually be a glitter still. Oop. Okay, on my pants. It's like this really light pink with blue. Oh, that's so pretty. If I declutter one of the next ones, I might switch the packaging out for this, because I really don't like this packaging, but that is really pretty and I like that it's like a finer sparkle. Okay, the next one is this pigment from Jessie's Girl in the shade Penny Arcade. This, I think, might be a little bit less special because it's very fine. Yeah, I feel like this might give the same exact effect as a bronze shadow. Yeah, I really enjoyed this back in the day, but nowadays I don't need it. So I am going to, I'll make this my little project for later. I'm going to clean this out and put the pink one in here. And lastly, I have this Lime Crime one. This is in the shade Cancer. I think they had a whole Zodiac collection. And this is a really pretty one too. I wore this in a video, I think last year, and I remember getting comments about it. Yeah, that's a really pretty glitter. I'm gonna keep it. So then I'm left with two glitters, and I feel like that is manageable and realistic, that I might eventually use those. Okay, so this is everything I'm gonna be keeping. I decided I am gonna keep this blue ColourPop one for now, but, you know, possible I'll just end up decluttering it at some point if I use it sometime and I don't love it. But I feel like this one little drawer of fun things is very manageable for me, very realistic, that I could keep my head wrapped around it. And this is 12 items. I actually counted it up, and it's 12 that I'm keeping, 12 that I'm decluttering. I do have those two that I mentioned that are on their way to me, so it will be 14. But I'm happy with that. And I'm happy that I could finally start including these again in my random palette selections, because now it's like, I've tried these out, I know I like them, and I'm excited to start using them again. But yeah, that's gonna be everything for today. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and there's always more indie makeup content on the way. Thank you so much for being here. Bye. And rooftop top